Behind the velvet curtains of Buckingham Palace, the Queen's dining table was more than a place of nourishment. It was a silent stage of ritual, memory, and unspoken tradition. Every plate that left the royal kitchen carried a story of history, restraint, and a monarch who found comfort not in extravagance, but in routine. Her meals were timed with precision, her preferences followed like scripture, and her dislikes quietly understood by every chef who ever served her. Yet within those silver-domed dishes lay glimpses of the woman behind the crown's simple tastes, wrapped in royal ceremony. Old-fashioned indulgences hidden beneath palace discipline. Tonight, we uncover those secrets one dish at a time, through the memories of the men and women who cooked for her, and the whispers that drifted from the royal kitchen to history's quiet pages. Now, let us begin. Dish number 1. Chocolate biscuit cake. According to Darren McGrady, the Queen's former personal chef, the chocolate biscuit cake was Her Majesty's favourite dessert. McGrady revealed that the Queen loved it so much that a slice of it travelled with her wherever she went from Windsor to Balmoral, and no crumb was ever left behind. In the royal kitchen, the scent of melted chocolate always signalled one thing: the Queen's indulgence. The chocolate biscuit cake, humble in its origin, yet sacred in its ritual, was crafted with the precision of a crown jewel. The chefs would crush the rich tea biscuits by hand, never too fine, allowing each fragment to keep its memory of crispness. Melted dark chocolate and butter were stirred into a glossy midnight pool, poured over the biscuits, and pressed into the tin the Queen herself had chosen decades earlier. When the cake was chilled and set, it was carried to her table with the reverence of a coronation relic. At tea time, the Queen would take a single slice, neat, unhurried, and silent. For a moment, the monarch of 70 realms was simply Elizabeth, a woman savouring her sweetest secret. Dish number 2. Grilled Dover sole. Former royal chef Darren McGrady and Palace Dining Records confirm that Dover sole was among Queen Elizabeth II's most cherished main courses. Light, elegant, and simple. McGrady once noted that the Queen preferred her fish unadorned, without heavy sauces, just lemon, butter, and precision. In the quiet before lunch at Buckingham Palace, the aroma of seared butter drifts through the corridors, the unmistakable herald of Dover sole. The Queen's plate is prepared not as a performance of luxury, but as a lesson in restraint. The fish, caught off the English coast, is grilled to a whisper of gold, the flesh flaking like parchment under the silver fork. No sauce clouds its purity, only a drizzle of lemon and a brush of butter grace its surface. The courtiers dine on ceremony, she dines on simplicity. As the sunlight glances through the palace windows, she pauses between bites, listening to the faint hum of the garden fountains. In that stillness, she seems not a ruler, but a quiet woman who finds her peace, not in power, but in the perfect balance of taste and silence. Dish number 3. Cucumber sandwiches. Reference. As described by Darren McGrady, Queen Elizabeth II enjoyed traditional afternoon tea daily, always including delicate cucumber sandwiches with the crusts removed. The sandwiches were a symbol of timeless royal custom, served at every tea from Buckingham Palace to Balmoral Castle. 4 o'clock was sacred in the Queen's world, not marked by chimes or guards, but by the gentle clink of fine china. On a silver tray rested the cucumber sandwiches, thin as whispers, their crusts trimmed with monastic precision. The butter, unsalted and cool, was spread edge to edge before the paper-thin cucumber slices were laid down like green glass. It was a ritual of elegance, not appetite. A conversation with tradition itself. The Queen would lift one triangle delicately, never rushing, her gloved fingers steady as time. In that quiet chamber, with the light bending through lace curtains, Britain's longest reigning monarch honoured an unbroken line of habit. Generals, statesmen, and empires had come and gone, but the cucumber sandwich remained constant as the crown, fragile as the afternoon's calm. Dish number 4. Strawberry jam pennies. Reference. According to royal chef Darren McGrady, Queen Elizabeth adored simple treats, especially tiny strawberry jam sandwiches called jam pennies. named for their coin-like size. They were served at tea since her childhood, a nostalgic favourite that never left her table. Amid the gilded tea sets and crystal trays of Buckingham Palace, one treat stood quietly apart: the jam penny. Two soft circles of white bread, no crusts, pressed together with a gentle kiss of strawberry jam. They looked almost childish beside the eclairs and scones, yet they carried a sweetness older than the Queen herself. Every bite was a memory of nursery rooms, summer gardens, and her mother's laughter echoing through Windsor's halls. Even in her 90s, the Queen would ask for them with that same measured grace. "A few jam pennies, please." They were her secret indulgence, her simplest joy. No fanfare, no ceremony, just the taste of home preserved in sugar and patience. In a life defined by duty, the jam penny was a moment of pure, unguarded comfort, small, round, and eternally royal. Dish number 5. Rare meat. A royal rejection of red reference. Former royal chef Darren McGrady revealed that Queen Elizabeth always preferred her meat cooked thoroughly. No blood, no pink. Ever. Even at grand state banquets, her portion was cooked longer than anyone else's, a rule he and every palace chef followed without question. The sizzle of the royal kitchen was always measured. No flames, no flambé, no flash of crimson on the plate. For Queen Elizabeth, meat was never to be rare, it was to be reassuringly done. In a world that celebrated delicacy, she chose discipline. Each roast that left the palace oven carried a story of habit and heritage, shaped by wartime rationing and a lifetime of caution. "No blood," she would remind softly, her voice as even as her rule. The chefs knew the command by heart. Even at banquets glittering with foreign dignitaries, her plate would arrive subtly different, darker, firmer, safer. It wasn't about taste, it was about trust. In that simple choice, well done over rare, lived the quiet precision of a monarch who valued certainty above show. Dish number 6. Pasta and heavy carbs. The unroyal indulgence. Reference: former royal chef Darren McGrady confirmed that Queen Elizabeth II rarely ate pasta, rice, or potatoes, unless for formal occasions. He explained, "The Queen doesn't like to feel too full. She prefers simple, light meals, grilled fish, or vegetables, no heavy starches." Inside the vast royal kitchens, where silver lids gleamed and time itself seemed to obey order, pasta was almost a stranger. For Queen Elizabeth, food was not comfort, it was composure. A plate heavy with starch or cream simply did not belong beside her fine china. Meals were meant to refresh, not to rest. The chefs knew the rhythm. Grilled Dover sole, a handful of spinach, perhaps a single biscuit for sweetness. Never a bowl of pasta. "She eats to live, not lives to eat," McGrady once said. In that discipline lay her quiet power. No indulgence, no excess, just control served with poise. Even when the rest of the world found solace in butter and bread, Her Majesty preferred the elegance of restraint, light, deliberate, and utterly sovereign. Dish number 7. Fast food, a forbidden modern temptation. Former royal chef Darren McGrady disclosed that fast food was never part of Queen Elizabeth's diet. "The Queen never had fast food," he said, though Prince Philip enjoyed grilling burgers at Balmoral, minus the buns and ketchup, when she joined. For Her Majesty, meals were sacred rituals, not quick conveniences. In an age when the world rushed toward convenience, the Queen dined by the clock, never by the craving. At Buckingham Palace, there were no paper bags, no greasy wrappers, no meals on the go. Every dish arrived beneath polished silver, every bite taken with deliberation. Fast food, to her, wasn't merely unroyal, it was undisciplined. Eating, in her eyes, was an art of manners, not a moment of hunger. Even at Balmoral, when Prince Philip grilled his venison burgers by the fire, the Queen would join, but without the bun, without the sauce, without the mess. It wasn't disdain, it was dignity. The golden arches of the modern world held no allure for a woman raised beneath golden chandeliers. For Elizabeth, food was never fast. It was timeless, measured, and always served with grace. Dish number 8. Tomato-based dishes. too acidic for the Crown reference. According to Darren McGrady and other palace chefs, Queen Elizabeth avoided tomato-heavy meals due to their acidity and staining risk. Rich sauces, soups, or salads with tomatoes were rarely served at her private table, replaced by lighter, subtler alternatives like butter or cream sauces. In the royal dining rooms, where every movement was rehearsed and every tablecloth pristine, even a drop of tomato could be a scandal. The Queen knew this well. Tomato soups, pasta sauces, or even a simple sliced salad were quietly forbidden. Too acidic, she would say, her tone firm but polite. The chefs adapted, swapping the red of tomatoes for the pale gold of butter, the brightness of lemon, or the gentleness of cream. To dine with the Queen was to experience flavor without chaos, elegance without accident. Every color, every texture served a purpose, never a risk. In that avoidance of red, that careful dance around a single fruit, lay the essence of her reign: balance, control, and the refusal to let even a meal break her unshakable composure. Dish number 9. Potatoes, the too ordinary staple. Reference: former royal chef Darren McGrady revealed that Queen Elizabeth rarely ate potatoes, considering them too starchy and too filling. Her meals focused on vegetables and proteins, simple, elegant, and carefully portioned. Potatoes appeared only on rare formal occasions, never on her personal menu. For a woman who ruled over millions, simplicity was never about commonness. It was about control. The humble potato, a staple of British tables for centuries, seldom graced the Queen's own. Too heavy, too ordinary, too everyday. In Buckingham Palace, indulgence wasn't measured in richness, but in restraint. The royal kitchen's rhythm followed her lead. Delicate garden, vegetables, lightly steamed and seasoned, replacing the starchy comfort of mashed or fried potatoes. It wasn't disdain for the dish, it was loyalty to discipline. She dined to stay sharp, never sluggish. No potatoes, the chefs would note beside her menu, as routine as the ticking of the palace clock. In that quiet exclusion of Britain's favourite food lay a symbol of her reign, steadfast, refined, and always just a little above the ordinary. Dish number 10. Rare fruits, the exotic Rejection reference. Former royal chef Darren McGrady noted that Queen Elizabeth preferred traditional British fruits over exotic imports. She loved strawberries, peaches, and apples from the gardens at Windsor, not tropical fruits, he recalled. The Queen found mangoes, papayas, and guavas too fussy and unpredictable in taste or texture. Across the empire she once ruled, ships carried treasures, silks, spices, and fruits born of distant suns. Yet in the Queen's own bowl, the selection was quietly modest. No mangoes, no papayas, no passion fruit, just English strawberries, crisp apples, or peaches from the royal gardens. She trusted the familiar, the steady sweetness of her homeland. Exotic fruits were too flamboyant, too foreign, too uncertain for a monarch who prized order over adventure. The chefs at Windsor knew this instinctively. A plate of British fruit, never tropical. It wasn't about luxury, it was about loyalty. Even in her desserts, the Queen's taste mirrored her rule. Firm, consistent, and grounded in tradition. Amid the world's changing flavours, she remained unshaken, the taste of England, preserved in every quiet, careful bite. Royal outro, a taste of restraint. As the silverware settles and the echoes of footsteps fade through Buckingham's marble halls, one truth lingers quietly behind the grandeur. Queen Elizabeth II's table was never about excess, but elegance. Every choice, every omission, spoke of the same discipline that defined her reign. Garlic, spice, shellfish, and starch, each forbidden not from whim, but from wisdom. She ruled her palate as she ruled her realm, with balance, order, and unflinching restraint. In an age that glorified indulgence, she chose moderation. In a world that sought flavour, she sought harmony. Her meals were a reflection of monarchy itself, poised, deliberate, and untouched by trend. And so, behind the chandeliers and the crystal, the Queen's dining table stood as a mirror to her legacy. a quiet testament that true power, like true taste, lies not in what one takes, but in what one refuses.